Boys, how you doing?
Great, man. How are you doing?
I got a hurricane behind me, but that's not the emergency that we've got going on. So we're going to start the podcast right now. Welcome to the Brunch Breakdown. It's Dee here in Orlando, scared, and Dan's in Pittsburgh. Chris is in, I don't know where Chris is. It doesn't seem like Chris has the same weather as Dan, so I don't really know if Chris lives in West Virginia or Ohio or where you
I'll
live.
send you my coordinates.
Yeah,
something like that. Well, anyways, Dan, tell everybody where they can find the Brunch Breakdown before we get into this emergency.
Man, we are getting to business.
I love it. The three amigos are back and we're just getting straight to it. Let's go. Full table, full reservation. You can find the Brunch Breakdown anywhere you listen to podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. Hit subscribe on every single one of those, any one of those. Every new episodes to you every Thursday morning. They're there on your mobile device, your computer, wherever you find them. They're coming right to you. Don't wait for the links. Hit subscribe every Thursday morning. Of course, our full video episodes. We've got some delightful videos to show you here today is where we're getting started. The full video episodes are available also every Thursday morning. That's 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern, both on our YouTube page and our Facebook page. Speaking of Facebook and every other social media platform known to man, we're also there at Brunch Breakdown. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Triller, TikTok, everywhere the kids are, we're there. That shouldn't say that anymore. I should start writing these things down.
We're going to have to start the episode over, Dan.
Right.
Damn it.
See, this is what happens when I don't have any intro and I have to dive into business.
Whereas he wasn't ready.
Wasn't ready. Lastly, our playlist called The Sounds of Brunch is available every Friday. That's available on Spotify. Just follow that. We send that link out every week as well. It gets updated. So now it's all you, Didi. Good luck.
Hey, the positive thing is we're only like 3 minutes into this and we already came up with another t-shirt. Although I don't know who would buy this t-shirt.
Limited edition.
Jared from Subway.
We just have to
That's about
attribute the
only person.
quote. It should be like, we are where the kids are. Dan Canop. That's what it is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that, but it's Dan.Merch. What are you going to do?
This podcast has started really weird, but apparently, the storms around us and what Dan just said aren't the emergency here. The emergency that we have to talk about right now, is that Juvenile remixed Back That Thang Up, and it's now called Vax That Thang Up. This is a real thing. Chris, play this damn thing.
All right, here we go. This is a must-see. Everybody needs to experience it.
How is this real?
You finna online date chat, find a mate chat, open up BOK ass, okay yeah, profile picture looking tight chat, nice chat, got your bio reading right chat, precise chat, but before you find a date chat, you gotta wait chat, gotta go vaccinate chat, get it straight chat, girl you look good, want you vax that thing up, you's a handsome young brother, want you vax that thing up, dating real life, you need to vax that thing up, feeling freaky all night, you need to vax that thing up, girl you look good, want you vax that thing up, you's a handsome young brother, want you vax that thing up, dating real life, you need to vax that thing up, feeling freaky all night, you need to vax that thing up.
I know you can't stand it, no holding hands chick, but when we get the shot, we gonna be romancing. Girl, you could be the queen after quarantine. We could meet up at the spot.
Okay, I think the people have seen enough. But yeah, you can find this a dating site called BLK. They obviously paid Juvenile a solid amount of money to do this, and that's where we're at, people, in 2021. Vax that thing up so you can so you can smash a guy named Scott.
Yeah.
You ever you never think growing up, and kids, listen, if you're listening to the Brunch Breakdown today and you're, between the ages of 14 and 24, I want you to think about some of your favorite songs, your favorite artists right now, and appreciate them, because you never know what they're going to be doing 10 to 15 years into the future. And I promise you that what we just looked at is never something that I could have comprehended. And it's really, quite frankly, disappointing. And it ruins the legacy of Juvenile for me. I mean, I appreciate the message, but there's other ways to communicate it.
just picture 60, 70, whatever it is, years from now, the Olivia Rodrigo remix, Good For You, is actually referring to the vaccine, that the vaccine is good for you. And that's really where it is for us right now, and what this means. An iconic song for us growing up. It's still an amazing song. And here we are. It's now Vax That Thang Up, and it's a whole lot of something, but it's mostly wonderful.
So this is a song that's a wedding staple. It's on every wedding playlist ever, anywhere. And Dan, you have a wedding coming up in a year. Are we playing Vax That Thing Up or Back That Thing Up?
Ooh, why don't you throw a Twitter poll out there? What do the people want to hear? Either one.
Like, I saw this, and of course I thought the same things you guys thought. Like, you just don't know what your favorite artists are going to be doing, and however long after their biggest hit. But man, this one just made me think one thing. I was like, I wonder how much money Juvenile got paid, because if the number's too low, I need to know. Like, yeah. if the number's just right, if the number's too low, I'm gonna be really upset. But if you got paid a lot, okay, we're good. But like, there's a certain number here. Like, if I find out that Juvenile and Manny Fresh did this for like 20 grand a piece, I'm gonna have a problem with it.
It's like a full 2-minute song. It's not just a chorus. It's not a quick TV commercial. I encourage everybody to go find the video. I'm sure we'll tweet it out, but listen to the whole thing, then listen to it again, listen to the lyrics. The hashtags at the end are wonderful. I mean, this is absolutely brilliant. This thing's going viral. It's taken off, and they're getting exactly what they paid for. Whether it was a little or a lot, they're getting exactly what they want.
I got nothing.
I love it so much.
I got nothing.
I love it so much. And also, this had to happen because like people still aren't getting vaccinated. So you know how we've been saying a lot on this podcast, everybody's getting vaccinated. Yeah, that's not the case, guys. It's not the case.
It still needs to be done. Yeah.
You know what though? I speaking of doing polls, I want to know who today decided, you know what? I will get the vaccine. Thank you, Juvenile, for convincing me. If that's you, I need to know who you are. That's what I need to know.
I wish that's what was, they encourage you to download the app once you get the vaccine to track any symptoms, whether or not you have them. So then they have just those figures for the mass numbers. I wish there was a question on there, like what encouraged you to get the vaccine? And it has all the incentives. It's the Talladega, incentive down in Alabama. It's the shot in a beer one in Boston, whatever it is. Or if it's Juvenile's remix, it pushed me over the edge. That's why I'm here today. That should be on the app. We need those figures. We need those numbers.
And well, see, now speaking of that, all right, so we need people to do this in every genre now. So we need Garth Brooks to do like I Got Friends in Low Places, but with putting Vax in there somehow.
I'll tell you what, that's probably the genre to go for first, without calling out certain areas of the country. I think country's huge. So country artists out there, be the one. Who's going to be? He's going to be Step Up. Garth would be a home run. He'd be a home run, right?
Yeah, because like you could get your Vax anywhere. So like Low Places works. Like you could literally get it anywhere now. So like Garth, Juvenile did it. We need you. I can't even say that. Oh my God.
Instead of save a horse, ride a cowboy, it's save a country, take a shot, or get a Vax. Save a country, get a Vax. Get those boys back together. Let's go. We'll call it game day.
I knew
a little Vax with your Vax, a little.
I knew at some point during the history of this podcast, Dan would start writing country music. Thank you. Thank you, Juvenile. We did it. We made it.
Well, yeah, if you haven't seen Vax That Thing Up, please, go check it out. You will have fun. And if you haven't been vaccinated, maybe it'll give you what you need. I don't know. No idea. All right, let's get into what we're talking about today on the show, because we had to get to that brunch emergency. We're going to be talking name, image, and likeness in the NCAA. It's going on right now, and we're going to talk about that in a bunch of different ways. Joey Chestnut's dominance and something new going on in the new competitive drinking space. Also, we're going to talk about what reality show that we would like to host because of Chris Harrison stepping down from The Bachelor. But boys, let's get it started like we always do with Brews Day. And I'm going to start first because I'm not drinking again because I'm in the middle of a work day. So coffee for me. It's brewed, but it's coffee. It's boring.
That's very true. It is brewed.
You get a medium roast there, dark roast.
Well, it's the breakfast. It's
it's a hotel coffee.
Literally, it's the coffee maker in my hotel room.
Walk us through your palate. Tell us tell us what you're getting.
Breakfast blend. That's what I got.
You need to carry that. What's that Hawaiian blend that you used to hazelnut, whatever that is? That's the stuff right there.
Don Francisco's Hawaiian hazelnut. Oh my god, incredible! It's so good. Like if you're ever feeling a little, you're going through the aisle, you see something, you're like, you know what? I want to spice up my coffee game a little bit. Don Francisco's, and they come in K cups too. So I know you guys are fans of the Keurigs.
There you go.
So,
I just got a Ninja, so I'm not using K cups anymore. Have you guys used the Ninja?
Dude, that's my coffee maker. I'm on my second Ninja. We had one for 4 years, and we just bought another one. I love that coffee maker.
It's pretty legit. Like
it is.
There's a learning curve, like when you're so used to just putting the K cup in, but like now, it's pretty dope that you can set it up the night before or the timer, and then it's just ready in the morning. And I don't know, something about the water going through the coffee grounds,
especially for you
who
likes
experience,
The timer is probably important for you, Chris, because you don't like a hot cup of coffee. You need it a couple degrees low, right? If you do that, you don't have to rely on the ice cube. Am I right?
True. Yeah, that is true. Yes, that's correct. Because I don't put anything in my coffee, but I want to drink it immediately. So like if you put the cream in, that helps bring the temperature down a little bit. You stir it, that helps bring the temperature down. I drink it black, okay? But I want it now. So sometimes you got to adjust it. I think like if you could list the top 5 things that Dan hates the most about me, that would be in the top 5 is that I put ice cubes if we're going on a trip and we stop at a Starbucks, Dan knows I'm going to ask them for an additional cup of ice cubes to cool down my coffee. And his face gets so red. He gets so mad because it's
a disgrace.
Well, since we're talking about things that Chris does on trips that we hate, let's go down the top 10. Right.
I know you guys have been
Chris. Number 1, Chris is a car farter, by the way. Like,
yeah, and part of that is number 2, he orders onions on his sandwiches in cars, which smell up the vehicle, and then the farts follow. So that's number 2.
You guys would be happy to know I don't eat onions anymore. Okay, so let's go for a car ride together.
No, the reason I thought about that is because the thing that always like freaks me out with you, and it's like it bugs me and it freaks me out, is that you always take the lid off the coffee because you want it to be cooled down, and that just freaks me out. Like you will drive with coffee just open.
Dangerous.
And that
listen,
especially because at a place like Starbucks, they're like, "Do you need any room for cream or sugar?" And by the time they even finish asking that question, Chris is like, "No." And so they're like, "We're filling you up to the top." And so you open that thing and you don't even need a minor earthquake. You just need someone to bump into the car and you're wearing half of it. And now you need a big ice cube for your arm because you scolded it.
Listen,
he does it though.
Every time I live life on the edge and I'm still here able to talk about it. So take a chance every now and then. Start with your coffee.
Incredible.
Chris, what are you sipping on, man? Brews Day. That went somewhere.
Yeah, I didn't know. Who would have thought that Didi drinking a coffee would turn into the top 10 things we hate the most about Chris? Didn't think we were going to get there.
On trips. I don't care what you do by yourself. When I'm around.
So I am bringing back a repeat on the show today because I actually have a hockey game later tonight. And despite the fact that they call it beer league, you're supposed to have the beer after the game, not before the game, and skate around all tipsy. So I'm bringing back the Crushworthy from Great Lakes Brewing. This was the number 1 pick of the low calorie beers that I tried before. And I think the ABV is it's 4%. So we can have this, wait a couple hours, play a hockey game, and not be a threat to my own health or those around me skating with blades on their feet on a big giant sheet of ice. So crushworthy today is what I'm drinking.
Nice. Very nice. Well, I'm going to go a little bit off the board here this week, bringing back an old favorite brewery of mine, Abjuration Brewing Company out of McKees Rocks, PA, the wonderful little town of McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania. This is a vanilla cookie milkshake ale. And I'll be honest with you boys, this is easily one of the top maybe 15 beers I've ever had in my life. Maybe 20. 15 to 20. It is a super big vanilla cookie punch in the mouth. If you like vanilla wafers or any type of vanilla cookie, as you can see based on the picture there, there's so much vanilla in here and it's wonderful. It's sweet. It really does taste just like a cookie. This brewery is fantastic at making these crazy flavors really come through and just take over your palate. And I love this beer. It's not super heavy, 5.9 ABV. It's a milkshake ale, but again, I wouldn't necessarily call it creamy or anything like that, but it's wonderful. It's delicious. The vanilla cookie milkshake ale, volume 1.1. You notice that on there as well. They do change up their recipes every time they release something they've done before. They typically change the recipe. So 1.1, 1.2, get into the 2.0s, but Abjuration, shouts to you. This is wonderful.
Wow. What is that even? I know you just told us, but like, I'm in my mouth trying to figure out what that tastes like.
It's hard to describe. I guess the closest thing I could say, because it doesn't taste like beer whatsoever. No hops, no dryness, nothing. It's like a vanilla latte souped up on vanilla. A little less latte, a little more vanilla. But that's probably the closest thing I could compare to it. It's sweet, but not overly sweet. It's wonderful. It's so good. I'll try to save you guys one. Try to have a swig of this. It's really good.
Nice.
Beautiful. All right. Let's get it off our chests. Random topics, all going through our minds. And we haven't done this, all three of us, in a while. I'm happy about it. Chris, get it off your chest.
Okay. I want to talk to you guys about tennis. And not so
Wasn't
much
ready for that.
Wow.
Not so much.
You know we're recording?
Yeah. Wimbledon is happening right now. And as I do when I'm lifting weights, I watch whatever is on ESPN and they're only playing tennis. So I don't really have a problem with the sport of tennis. I don't really have an interest in the sport of tennis. So it's just whatever to me. But I do have a big problem with the ball boys and ball girls that are at the tennis matches. And maybe I shouldn't direct my anger or frustration at them. I should maybe direct it at the people that instruct them on how to conduct themselves during a match, because these boys and girls, men and women, look like they are on crack. It is ridiculous. Like, watch a tennis match. Just watch one for 5 minutes and preferably watch the one that's at like center court, right? The way that they sprint around the tennis court is absolutely ridiculous. The way they roll the balls to each other is not a natural way that anybody would ever roll a tennis ball to another person. The way they hold the balls like this to indicate that they have one is not the way that a normal human being would ever indicate that, hey, do you need a tennis ball? I've got one. They are the ones that are by the net are in a constant stance of like an Olympic sprinter when like nobody needs them to sprint to get the ball that fast and get out of the way. These people are running around the court so fast, looking like crazy people. And then like they do all their stuff, they're done. And then we still wait like 20 seconds for the players to get ready to hit the ball again. It's a distraction. I don't like it. That's pretty much it. I just don't like it. Fine with the sport of tennis, but we need to, it's just unnecessary. It's just too much. It's extra is what it is. It's extra. And I don't like it.
Like tennis isn't a fast sport, but I don't know if I'd call it a slow sport where it needs, like, we need to get moving quicker. Like this should be happening in baseball. Like if the foul ball rolls down the first baseline, the bat boy or bat girl isn't running down the baseball to get it off the field. Right. Or when the umpire needs another ball, they're not like, I got one for you right here, blue, right here. There's no speed there in a sport that needs that. It's not taking place, but tennis, yeah, sure. Turn it up. Let's go. Weird. Okay, I don't get it.
That's super funny. I never thought about it that way, that like, they don't need to run around like they do. Like no one's not going to see the ball on the court. You know what I mean? Like no one's like, people are going to see it. So like you can go grab it. You don't have to like run to it. Yeah. Like I don't think anyone's just going to be, oh man, Serena Williams just tore her ACL because she slipped on a ball. Like I think she's going to see it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. They get the players the ball. And then like, I was watching Federer today and like, so he gets the ball and then they're all scurrying around. They get back to their spots and then he's like bounces it with his tennis racket, gets into place, and then serves it. There was no need for this frantic craziness. And there's like 75 of them surrounding the court. I don't know why. I just don't like it. I respect tennis players. They're very athletic, but we need to fix that aspect of tennis. Thank you for diving into this very serious topic with me today.
Of course. Tennis is in some trouble. Superstars are at the end of their careers. Tennis is in some trouble.
Better lost today to some guy I've never heard of.
Yeah. Naomi's the only hope right now. Tennis is in some trouble. Can't believe we're talking about this, but
it's been a weird episode.
Need some young stars in tennis. Help us out.
Okay, well, since we're on the topic of tennis, I was thinking about this yesterday because I was watching doubles because Coco Gauff was in the doubles, so I'm watching.
Man, you guys, you guys need to find a remote.
I was watching.
Damn.
I was watching, and I was like, and all I could think about was when you're playing doubles as a regular person, not a tennis pro, like, do you hit your partner with the serve a lot? Because all I could think about was like, because they have this camera where it's like right there, you know what I mean? And you see the ball just whiz over their head. And I'm like, if you're a regular tennis player, do you just hit your partner all the time? Like, I don't know. I've never played tennis, like ever have played tennis, other than just like being in gym class with a racket. I've never like played a game. I have no idea.
It's got to happen, right?
I'm sure it happens. I took tennis lessons as a kid for like a really short period of time. And I remember playing doubles. I don't ever remember serving and hitting the person in front of me, but like, yeah, because you're on the one end and your teammate is in front of you to the left, but then you like need to serve to the left. And I saw that camera you're talking about. And for one of the duos that was playing, like the woman in front actually crouched down.
Yeah.
So like maybe that's a thing so that they don't get hit. You just have to like find a way to get out of the way when it starts. I don't know.
I have no idea, but that's what I was thinking about. Since we're talking tennis, this is the tennis breakdown.
Talking tennis.
Yeah, talking tennis.
What's going on?
Dan, get it off your chest, which I feel like you're about to. We're talking tennis.
Yeah, Dan just changed it. He's pissed at us and he wants to talk about it.
I want to talk about the get it off your chest segment from this week. What I am going to talk about is scary movies. Going to talk scary movies this week. A summertime favorite. Recently watched The Conjuring, the latest Conjuring movie, The Devil Made Me Do It. And scary movies and horror movies and things like that, they're all still coming out. And I don't mean like the M. Night Shyamalan ones, okay? I mean like ones like The Conjuring. They're not scary. They're exhausting. And I'm exhausted. I was exhausted after watching this movie. Physically, mentally exhausted. Chris, I know I can speak for both of us here when we say we grew up watching the classics. We've got a dear friend, CJ, who loves him some horror movies, scary movies, and we watched the classics all the time. Mm-hmm. Talking Freddy, talking Jason, Michael Myers, Sleepaway Camp, little deep cuts there as well. Yeah. That's good stuff. Okay. We always enjoyed that. And there's like 18 iterations of every single one of those. I'm not sure if everybody knows that. Nightmare on Elm Street 54. Like they just keep coming. They're not all great, but they're good. They're entertaining. Nowadays, and I don't know if it's just me or the movies or a combination of it, they're not enjoyable for me. And yeah, I don't know if the movies are bad. The plots are fine. The plot of this movie was fine. It wasn't boring. It's based on true events, using air quotes very dramatically with that, I just find myself exhausted after a scary movie, not scared, exhausted. And I just need to do something enjoyable afterwards. Like after it was over, my fiance Shannon wanted to watch it, told her to watch it with her. She knew I didn't want to, did it anyways. And afterwards I'm like, well, now we got to watch Seinfeld because I'm just like not pleased. I'm just not pleased. It ends well, but I'm just not pleased. I'm exhausted and I need some joy in my life. So that I think that's where it's come for me with just scary movies in general, is that I don't need adrenaline pumping while I'm relaxing, watching a movie or a TV show. If my heart's beating faster, I want it's because I can't stop laughing and not because I want to be scared or anything like that. So that's where I am with scary movies. No more.
I'm 100% with you, man.
All right.
I've said this a number of times to a number of different people, but like scary movies for me, I don't want to spend my time having a bad time. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Those, like you said, those classics that we watched growing up. So our buddy Chuck CJ, he made them fun because he like helped us laugh at them. Cause like you said, they were kind of funny. They were kind of corny.
Yes.
The ones nowadays are like literally trying to horrify you, which I suppose is why the genre is called horror, but not for me.
Like scale it back on the demonization of everything and like people's like necks twisting and like give us the classics again. Give me a little humor in there. I'll be fine with something like that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you guys. Like I feel like part of the reason I married my wife is because she does not like watching scary movies. And I'm like, cool. Yeah, don't feel like watching those, and I don't have to watch them ever. Because if you're with somebody who likes them, you got to watch them, you know? But like, I'm like, I just don't like doing that. I'd rather make fun of like some stupid hour-and-a-half rom-com on Netflix that stars like Christina Milian. And I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I'm glad you boys were with me there.
There's a quote from Erin in The Office when she's dating Gabe. And Gabe keeps making her watch scary movies. And she says something to the effect of, I really like the first 10 minutes when everybody's life is perfect and they're happy. And that's kind of how I feel. That's about as far as I get with horror movies. The minute you see like, oh, it's starting to turn, then we can turn it off.
Yeah. And like, I'm just constantly embracing for that like surprise. Like you can't surprise me anymore in a scary movie because I'm like always ready for it when you least expect it. And like now when you like actually least expect it, I'm just ready. I'm just in ready mode the whole time. Like you're not going to get me spooked. So yeah, it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
That's pretty great. Like I know what you did last summer is pretty good until they start getting scared. Cause it's just like Jennifer Love Hewitt, just like, being cute. I think Gabrielle Union's in that too, or somebody like that. Like, yeah, it's just like good looking cast. They're just hanging out, and then shit happens. But like, I want the movie before all the bad stuff happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a prequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's like, I want to know what you did the summer before last.
Yeah. When everything was great and you guys probably went to fun parties and there was like high school drama. Show me that movie.
That's the movie we need. Okay.
That's the one we need. I Know What You Did the summer before last. Got it. That's it. All right, boys. Gonna get this off of my chest. So my Instagram recently, I've been posting a bunch of stuff that I've been doing because a lot of the work that I've been doing and missing this podcast for is because of all the stuff that's all of a sudden just like happening all at the same time. So it's like really exciting and it's cool. And a lot of people have said to me in messages like, oh man, you're doing so well. It's like, dude, how are you killing it? And I'm like, dude, listen, I'm constantly going on auditions or doing self-tape auditions all the freaking time. And they're really, really annoying, right? Because I found this out that my camera was like slightly crooked. So I was like sending in self-tapes with like the background was like this, but
Oh,
like I was
jeez.
like slightly tilted. It just all messed up. Realize that. So like that's one thing that really sucks. Also, let's talk about the time that I was a fitness model for 6 hours. All right. I booked this shoot with Beachbody has this bike coming out called Mix, or it's out right now, but now Beachbody's about to take over. So I auditioned for this job because they said they needed like regular people who ride their like exercise bike. And I was like, whatever, I can do that. So these people liked me when I did the audition. And then I go to this shoot and it's the most crazy cameras I've ever seen. Everything's set up nuts. And I'm there and I'm like, oh, all right, this is wild. Well, this is going to be cool. And then walks in this girl who, if you built a fitness model in a lab, it's this girl. Her name's Nicole. She's super nice. She's amazing. Like she's great. But like literally, I was like, why am I here? So I'm already like in my head. I'm like, this makes no sense. You said you wanted regular people. That's why I thought you needed me, right? Okay. So then they're like putting me in all these clothes and they're like, that looks too tight. Oh no, you have chest hair. You got to shave your chest hair. Oh no, like these, I think those shorts are like too baggy. So I'm in my head because everything they're changing on me is obviously because they had a look of what they wanted and I was not it. Okay. So I'm on the bike and this is supposed to be a 2-day shoot, mind you, right? 2 days, supposed to be like 12 hours each. It was like really good money. So I was like really excited about it. And I'm on the bike and they're like, and I hear someone say, oh my God, he's sweating. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst shit ever. And I'm like, I literally like in my head and they're just like, all right, show emotion. They start playing music and I'm like trying to get into it and I do this stuff. And I felt like it was over really quick and because they obviously were like, all right, we can't do this with this guy. And so I go upstairs, I like eat lunch or whatever. And then this guy comes up to me and goes, hey, Daniel, can I see you outside? And he's like, we're going to go in a different direction, I think. You're still going to get paid for 2 days, but like, we're going to go in a different direction. I was like, why? And he's like, just didn't work out. It's like, okay. So I had to like put my bag down. I like basically ran out of there. And I was like, oh man, that was so embarrassing. I'm talking to Siobhan. She's like, are you still getting paid? I was like, yes. He was like, well, who cares? And I was like, I know, but like, it was mad embarrassing. So I'm just letting you know.
Right.
A lot of work goes into the stuff you see that I'm doing right now. But that was my day as being a fitness model, which I'm not. And there you go.
So it's not always it's not all the good stuff that you're sharing. There's the behind the scenes stuff that doesn't go well that you can only get here on the Brunch Breakdown.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Jeez.
My day as a fitness model did not go well.
I think it's okay that you're not a fitness model, Didi. I think
you're a superhero dad, right?
Yeah.
I'm a superhero dad.
That's your role.
I think it's much more appropriate. I don't think anybody should want to be a fitness model, if I'm being completely honest with you, because like, I gotta go through stuff like that all the time.
Yes. Yeah. And I did think about you when I've done this, and I did something else recently, but I'm not going to say what that was. Everything's fake. It's like the person you see, like, I don't ride that bike. Like, that person doesn't ride that bike. This person doesn't do this with this thing. They're just like, we're casting him. So just, I
That's
thought
the
about
fitness
you.
industry, man.
It's
If
so weird.
somebody tells you to buy a supplement, they probably don't take that supplement. You know what I mean? It's just
super weird.
Well, boys,
anyways,
before we dive into the main course,
go for it.
Sorry, I wanted to jump in here that I didn't want to let this slip by another week because we've discussed it maybe the past 3-4 weeks on this show that our good friend over at the Legend Status podcast has been clamoring for us to join him on what he'd like to call a Midsummer's Brew collaboration, spelled similar to Midsummer's Dream or something like that.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
There it is. So it's spelled weird. SOM, whatever. Doesn't really matter. But the tweets that we're getting and the hashtags that are going along with it are just a little strange, but we certainly understand. And we're a little lukewarm on the idea. I think we've kind of gone back and forth. Said it's not really our thing. Beer, discussing craft beer. We don't do that well on this show, clearly, today. But for those that haven't been able to catch it yet, he invited me on his most recent episode. It was episode 22, and I'm Steel City Dan 22. So he said, I got to have you on. Couple of minutes. We'll do 22 questions. knock it out. Cool. Whatever. So I go on there. And of course, his 20-second question without me knowing was, I need an answer on the Midsummer's Brew with the brunch breakdown. And I was like, you bitch. This is not what you invited me on this show for. Anyways, we did discuss it as a group and we accepted his offer. We accepted his offer for a collaboration episode, the Legend Status podcast and the Brunch Breakdown, talking all things beer, best beers for summer, best beers we've had this year, et cetera, et cetera. So offer formally accepted. Wanted to provide the update on that. So more details to come on that very soon. Probably in the next couple of weeks, we'll mix it up, mash it up with that dude over there at the Legend Status podcast. Check him out. Episodes every Tuesday. Episode 22 is wonderful. The rest of them you don't have to listen to, but that one's wonderful. Check it out. But wanted to, before we dove into the main course here today, wanted to at least give our formal response to our listeners. And one question he did ask me was, what do we call our fans? He says, you can't call them the Brunchies because that's the award show. So what are our fans and our listeners called? I didn't have an answer for him.
Whenever we get some of those, we'll let you know.
That's a great answer. Great answer. Stand by for that answer. Yeah.
Well, let's get into the main course. The NCAA did something cool and solved half their problems. Players can now profit off their name, image, and likeness. So, and some players did it at midnight. And we're not just talking like football, basketball players. Like there are girls volleyball players that are profiting. And what did you guys think when this went down? Name, image, and likeness starting.
You know, I mean, I think it makes sense. I think like the next few years might be kind of weird while like we figure out how it's all going to work. But like, I don't know if any other college student can do that. I don't see why athletes shouldn't be able to either. Just, I mean, they have bigger platforms than anybody else at the university. Like the starting quarterback on the football team has a bigger profile than any of the faculty at the university. You know what I mean? So like he should probably get the opportunity to hold a passing camp and make some money off of it. And I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, this is a super weird area because like I'm against college athletes getting paid to play. I've never really been for that, but
like
this
is
different.
By the university,
right. Or by the NCAA. There's less than 20 athletic departments that actually make a profit. Less than 20 that actually make a profit. Football programs make lots of money, but the athletic departments don't make money. Most of them lose on average $16 million a year, and they just have to keep funding it to allow these other sports to play. Because if you start to pay athletes, then you're going to have 2 to 3 sports, football, men's basketball, maybe one other. And I never want to see that day, but this is completely different. So, and I'm in favor of this for that very reason that they use these athletes who are superstars at their university, in their towns, even in their state, and for them to not be able to benefit. And there's so many rules about what they can and can't do promotion wise. It's very, very difficult. And so this allows them way more freedom. It allows them to get paid. They're not getting paid by the university. They're not getting paid by the NCAA. They handle their own deals. I think there are some restrictions right on the school and the state can like, I'll say you're allowed to be affiliated with this or not with this. Like you can't team up with Marlboro and all of a sudden be on wacky tobacco commercials and things like that. There are certain restrictions like that. Right. And you can't use your school's logo when you're promoting something as well on your own, but you can have your own merch. You can hold a camp, just like you said there, Chris. There's a lot of things that were so hard for these athletes to be able to do. Generally, even not getting paid, they weren't allowed to just do them at all. And now they can do them. Now they get compensated properly for them. So it's been a long time coming. And this is a landmark landmark thing. I think there's still some muddy gray areas to figure out. And like you said, Chris, the next couple of years could be strange. But hopefully this stays inside the lines as much as possible and it's good for everybody.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. I mean, I think athletes should be paid, but that's a whole different conversation and whatnot. But like, I am really excited to find out what like the third string offensive lineman's gonna do. Because those are the people that I find to be the most fascinating in this whole thing. Because of course, like whoever the Heisman hopefuls are, like if you aren't going to like every TV station, radio station and saying, I want to do this for $100,000, I'll do your TV show for $100,000 and call it the I'm the Heisman hopeful show. Like you're an idiot. Like go do that like right now. Cause that's what and people will pay that 1000%. So like, that's what they should do. But like, I want to know like can an offensive lineman go on OnlyFans? Right. And literally just talk to like West Virginia offensive linemen talking to West Virginia fans. People will pay that.
Get a cameo.
I mean, but no, because the thing with OnlyFans, it's like you have like you can like literally like make certain videos for them. There's like live chatting and stuff like that, and like because people do this stuff with like porn stars or whatever. But football fans will do this with football players, and I think a third string offensive lineman for Alabama could make bank because I think people will want to talk to him. It's going to be wild.
You're not wrong.
Probably.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, so like, here's how I think it's going to work out. And I think a lot of people are obviously going to get annoyed by this whole thing over the next few years, because I think like right now, every college athlete that books a deal, it's turning into a headline. So all you're going to hear about over the next 1 to 2 to 3 years is every single deal that every athlete books. So you're going to hear about that third string offensive lineman from Alabama and how much money he made on OnlyFans. And eventually it's going to become the norm. And you're going to hear probably only about like the Tuas and the Joe Burrows who are going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars as college athletes. And I think they're really going to be like the outliers. A lot of guys are going to be able to make some money. They should, and they will. And there's going to be like a handful of those outliers that are going to make bank. But I think like right now I see this already annoying people. Cause like I saw some deal came out that Miami, University of Miami's team, some fitness center or something like that in Miami or in South Florida, paid $500,000, which is like $6,000 for each member of the football team to do promotion for their fitness center or gym or whatever it is. So like each one of those players made $6,000. So we're talking about how each one of those players is making $6,000. But if you look at it, if we like step back in 5 years, if an athlete makes $6,000 for something, people probably aren't going to care because it's going to become the norm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it's really going to be like, no, Joe Burrow booked like a $250,000 commercial with Powerade or something like that.
Yeah. And what I'm intrigued about is how this changes the landscape for these sports in terms of recruiting, because it's not tied to recruiting, but it's certainly going to be tied to recruiting about where these kids can end up deciding to go, more so in like the local business side. Or then you have like big businesses. You know, we know that Nike and Oregon are tied together, but what about other schools that have those affiliations where you've got businesses getting into the ear of the kid, say, hey, if you decide to go here, this is what we're going to be able to pay you. And I just hope that doesn't mean the rich keep getting richer. You'll still have those other local businesses in major markets, which in college, when I say major markets in college, that's a completely different thing, right? I'm not talking about
Lincoln, Nebraska.
Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Right.
Yeah.
So like
Morgantown's a major market in college football.
Right. So how that changes that for those little college towns versus major metropolitan cities and the businesses that are there. I hope we don't just see this cream continuing to just rise from the top, and we really do have that separation of Power Five. It gets even worse from the other conferences. That's a fear that I have, but I'm hopeful that maybe it could even balance it the other way, where it's like, hey, come here. You are the girl, the guy. You're going to get all of the dollars are funneled toward you. You're going to be the face of everything for this university and every business within it. That maybe that'll help balance it. But that's what's intriguing to me the most, is how it changes that landscape of recruiting.
Yeah, my if I had to guess, I would guess that the rich get richer. I do kind of wonder though, because like, okay, let's all be honest with each other here. Like, teams in the SEC are paying players. Teams in the Big Ten are paying players that you just don't know about it because they're doing it quietly.
Yeah.
So I do wonder if there may be some opportunities, like Dan said, where it's like, well, now like we can kind of legally set that up for these players. We're a program that wasn't comfortable with doing that in the past, but maybe now we are able to, like, maybe that'll help. But I don't know. It's hard to figure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, like you said, the fitness center in Miami, like, I love that. I hope more people do that. Like, I hope like friggin' Jay-Z just decides to pick a school and just funds that football team or whatever. Cause I think that's cool. Cause I think the thing about name, image, and likeness is like, and I joke about the third string offensive lineman, it's like those people who are like not starters and are still getting the shit kicked out of them every day aren't really going to be getting any deals. Maybe they do in these first couple years because it's funny. Like Barstool, I'm sure, is going to have somebody who doesn't play, like, you know, do ads for them or something like that. But like, that's going to stop. And then it's like, you know, these players up here are going to get paid and other people won't. And I just think they're all getting the shit kicked out of each other. So I don't know. I do like that though with the Miami thing. But also people who are going to make bank and that people aren't talking about: volleyball players, gymnasts. Like,
dude, think about like the athletes,
people who already wear skimpy clothes already, like dudes and girls. I'm talking about, like, this is what they're allowed to do and not allowed to do. I find the most fascinating with this, because these college athletes are in peak shape, and like, there's a lot of magazines and a lot of online ads and a lot of things like that. And I'm like, what are you, well, like, where's the line going to go? I get it. Like you said, the cigarette thing, but I'm like, you know, the next fight is going to be like the NCAA versus, like, I don't know, Playboy or something. I don't know. It's going to be something.
Edie, the line that you stand in to become a fitness model is going to get a lot longer here pretty soon when you've got college athletes that you're standing behind.
That was your one shot, Didi. It's over now.
Yeah. It went so well.
Now you're going to be like, are you kidding me?
But I was even thinking about, like, there's a lot of college athletes that are about to compete in the Olympics. And like, those college athletes, if they do well in the Olympics, they could make themselves millions of dollars, right? Like, it's a big opportunity for everybody competing in the Olympics now. And I think of like Katie Ledecky. Is that the swimmer's name?
Yep.
At Stanford. Like, holy hell, the amount of money she could have made at Stanford after winning all those medals. There's going to be some success stories in track and other sports like that too.
For sure.
Oh yeah. It'll be very interesting. But something you brought up, Chris, who are some of the players that you can think top of your head who would have made a ridiculous amount of money while being a college athlete?
Yeah. So the absolute first person that came to mind when this thing was passed was Reggie Bush. Would have been a multimillionaire. He absolutely would have been a multimillionaire being in LA. And I mean, he was already an A-list celebrity when he was there. Matt Leinart might have been the same, early 2000s USC Trojans. But like, he's the greatest college football player I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I think the amount of deals he could have scored playing college football in LA for the national championship team and winning a Heisman Trophy, which, by the way, give Reggie his Heisman back. Man, he would have been a multimillionaire, guaranteed.
I had two come to mind. Well, really three come to mind as well. Zion Williamson. Yeah. There's some money thrown around there probably anyways, but
Zion Jay-Z was sitting courtside at a Pitt game because Zion was there. Did you imagine how much money that dude would have made? Holy hell.
Zion would have made bank.
ESPN made a TV show for him. Like
Yeah.
they just so happened to follow Duke basketball the year that he showed up there. They literally made a TV show for him.
Yeah.
Like
The second one was Cam Newton. Now, obviously, there was some maybe money there anyway, so it probably wouldn't have mattered. But the sponsorship deals would have been great. And the third, I consider, had to be, if there's 1A and 1B with Reggie Bush, Chris, the one and only Tim Tebow.
Tebow would have banked. Yeah.
Would have been ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
and he would have gave it all to charity. It wouldn't have been fun anymore. Like it would have sucked. Like that's the thing, man. Tebow's would have just killed the whole joy out of the whole room. Like everybody been making bank on the Florida team, but then there are a lot of interesting characters on those Florida teams. Like who else would have made bank?
Yeah.
Aaron Hernandez.
Mhm. Yep.
Yikes. The thing that I thought about was like, because I was at WVU when Pat White were there, Steve Slayton and WVU was at its height, and I just thought about like what they could have done around campus. Like I'm just like, would Bent Willie's just been called like Pat White's? Like
Yes, it would have.
just like, are players gonna be able just to like, I don't know, put their name, image, and likeness on like on a restaurant?
Yeah,
like
it would
they're
have.
just going to pay them for their name to be called like Kegler's is a place in Morgantown. It's just like that's just gonna be called Slayton's.
It would have been Pat White's Bent Willie's. Pat White's Keglers is what it would have been.
Yeah.
100%.
Because they were
sure.
just so huge. And like what and what you guys said about the major market, and it's like in Morgantown, it's like that's the only game in the state.
Yeah.
Like the only game in the whole state.
Mhm.
And it's just they you could make so much money. Like there's pharmaceutical companies, like they would back up the truck for Pat White. I don't know. Another play I thought was Randy Moss would have made an
Ooh.
insane amount of money at Marshall.
Yeah.
I thought about Peyton Manning would have made a ton of money at Tennessee because he played for. It felt like Peyton Manning was in college forever.
Mhm.
Like it felt because he stayed for 4 years, so it felt like he was there forever, and he was just the guy for so long. And I feel like he would have made bank. But there are a lot of those players that just would have made a ton. I feel bad for them, especially the ones that didn't make it. I'm just like, damn, could have made a lot of loot.
Right.
I got a couple more. So Pat White was on my list. I thought about Bo Jackson. And I thought like,
Ooh.
Bo Jackson, if he was getting paid in college, it could have been for football or baseball. And like, could that have potentially changed the trajectory of what he ended up doing with his professional career? Maybe it could have. Deion Sanders would have also been a multimillionaire.
Easy.
Johnny Manziel could have signed those autographs and got paid for them, even though he did.
Right.
And then this one might be a little bit off the beaten path here, but I think you guys are going to enjoy it because Mo Bamba played for Texas, and Mo Bamba also had a song written after him that's been played over 700 million times on Spotify. Just think of the endorsement deals for Mo Bamba. Okay.
Yeah,
That's true.
Just saying.
That's a great one.
that's
That's a great one.
That's huge. I was thinking about like basketball players that like didn't make it. So like on my list, I have like TJ Ford. You guys remember TJ Ford also played for Texas? Yes,
Wow.
would have made a ridiculous amount of money. He did not make it into the NBA, but man, would he have made an insane amount of money? He was my favorite player. And I think about like Sebastian Telfair, who was supposed to be like the next great NBA player, went straight from high school to the NBA and just did not make it happen. And he would have made so much money before he even did anything. And it's like, big bumskis there. But
Speaking of a guy who had a documentary made after him, Sebastian Telfair. So here's one more thing that I've thought of is because Sebastian Telfair just made me think of this. I wonder, I think this probably will lead to college athletes staying in college longer if they're profiting. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
we see so many guys like redshirt play 2 years, they're off to the NFL, or like college basketball players have to play 1 year and then they're off to the NBA draft. But like if they're getting compensated well while they're in college, then they don't have to rush to make that jump to make more money. You know what I mean? Like they would obviously make more, but I may enjoy that part of it because turnover is already so quick in college sports. You're there 3-4 years and you're gone. I would love to see guys stay around longer, just because I think it brings more interest to the game when, like, you know, Tua plays for all 4 years or Baker Mayfield plays for all 4 years. So I hope that happens.
Yeah, I certainly think that that could have an impact, you know, even if it's a smaller percentage, but you get one major key player to do it and then more end up doing it. And yeah, it may not have a huge dynamic shift in it, but you're going to have more and more players sticking around for that fact alone. I think it'll be positive for those college sports for sure.
Well, think about it. It's those guys who, like, if this whole thing goes the way that we all think it's going to go, yeah, it will happen, because there's guys that, you know, are great players in college, but like they're 6th round draft picks.
Yeah.
But like, if someone tells you you're a 4th, 5th round draft pick when you're, you know, a junior, you might leave. You might just be like, yo, I'm going to go make money now. But like, if you're already making money, you'll stick around. And like with the NBA draft, you see a lot of those stories like every year where a player like leaves early and he doesn't get drafted because there's only 2 rounds in the NBA draft. And it's like, maybe I think that person would stay around if they already had some money in their pocket and they didn't have to go. You didn't have to choose between, you know, trying to make the Oklahoma City Thunder or, you know, or playing international. They just stay. So
Yeah.
I think that would work. Man, that was good, boys.
Yeah.
Let's get into a couple things before we get the music. Joey Chestnut, Dan, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. Of course, America's birthday, July 4th. Every year, celebrate with little fireworks. And at high noon, we kick off with Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest, typically on Coney Island. It was a little different venue this year, but the GOAT, the man, the myth, the legend, Joseph Chestnut, going for his 15th title this year and trying to break his world record, which he broke last year, 75 hot dogs eaten in 10 minutes. And you damn right, he done it again. He went and done it again. Joey Chestnut in front of a crowd of 5,000 people eating 76 hot dogs, a new world record, beat his second place opponent by 26. It was never close. You knew it was never going to be close. Blew them out of the water. Just absolutely impressive. The GOAT of all the sports, of all time. Joey Chestnut. What'd you guys think?
Bring back Kobayashi. Let him back in.
Oh, yeah.
He needs a rival. Like, this is ridiculous. No sport is better when like there's a player or a team that's unbeatable, because then people lose interest. The world of competitive eating needs to find a way to get Kobayashi back in there. The dude is like doing his own eating competitions because he doesn't want to compete. And if you haven't watched the 30 for 30, watch it. There's a lot of drama, and I'm not going to be able to sum it up here. Let him back in. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, Joey Chestnut, it's not even like fun right now, you know? They try to make it fun. They gave him the huge intro, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
It's great.
Then he goes out and wins by 20 some hot dogs. And you're like, he needs a challenger. There's got to be someone out there who can do this. Like, America, someone, you can do this. Start right now. Eat as many hot dogs as you can and do this. Somebody can. I'm like, getting upset. He's almost ruining the competition.
He's basically going against himself, right? It's whether or not he can break the world record, not even win. He's going to win. When he's winning by that many, he's going to win. But it's whether or not he can break his own world record. And eventually, Joey's not going to eat any more hot dogs in front of people and try to break a record. And when that happens, this thing is going to be so lame. So lame, because it was Kobayashi for a while. And then you had a brief rivalry between the two. And then, like you said, Chris, Kobayashi gone. It's all Joey Chestnut. The ratings are through the roof, but when Joey's gone, then what? We need some rivalry in the last couple of years here, kind of like Tiger Woods, blowing everybody out of the water. Sergio Garcia, yeah, thanks for coming. That wasn't even close. You had some people at the end there. The golf game was changing. We need some more competition for Joey. I hate to say it, but the worst thing about it was ESPN's trash feed that they had in the final 5 minutes of the competition. They had a 40-minute lead up to the event with all these interviews. They didn't even show the women's competition. They just highlighted it. I'm like, why are we watching interviews for 40 minutes when we could clearly watch the women's competition? This makes no sense.
Dan, stop. You watched the pregame show?
I did. The whole thing, the whole hour, whole kit and caboodle. Yeah.
See, so Dan, the problem is you're too niche for this discussion. I think you're in too deep. You know what I mean?
But the feed was trash. We literally, for the final 5 minutes, we saw maybe 45 seconds of it, including, or I should say, not including the last 30 seconds. We didn't even see it. That was extremely, I was yelling at my TV. It was all ESPN, the app, Twitter. No matter where you watched it, you had a problem and it went down. ESPN, after all this time, we went through a pandemic, for crying out loud. You couldn't give us 10 clean minutes of this. That was frustrating.
What did you think of the lemonade chug, Dan? Because now there's the Nathan Lemonade Chug contest, which I think was put in place because they need something else, because they already know what Joey Chestnut's going to do.
That was one of the pregame events. Yeah, I love it. The first ever lemonade chug. And never heard of this before, never saw this before, but Eric Badlands Booker had been in the hot dog eating contest for years. The guy is physically enormous. He's probably well over 400 pounds. He looks like the guy that would win it every year, and he never does. Everybody cheers for him. He's a really, really cool dude. He's written songs for the hot dog eating contest, for ESPN, for Major League Eating. He's written songs. He's a rapper. He's really, really cool, really good. But they had him go up against the number 2 ranked chugger in the world it's just 2 of them.
Who's doing this? I know of the world golf
top
rankings, but who's ranking the chuggers? That's
so there's just 2 of them up there chugging a gallon of lemonade, and Eric Badlands Booker absolutely destroyed this young man. Absolutely destroyed him. If you didn't watch it live, find the video. It's on Twitter. It's on ESPN's Twitter. It's not very long, because Badlands Booker, he takes burp breaks. He's screaming in the middle of these chugs, and this kid's just go, 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 go. And he's just there, and he knows he has him blown out of the water, and he just demolishes this lemonade, this huge gallon of lemonade, like it was nothing. So impressive. I'm so happy.
Thank you, Dan. Happy 4th of July to you and your family.
Yes. Now, here's a question for you boys. What would be the liquid of choice that you think you could chug the quickest besides water?
Sweet tea.
Sweet tea.
Sweet tea.
Okay. Chris, what do you think?
Because
you got to stay away from carbonated stuff, right? There's a TikTok. Joey Chestnut's on TikTok, by the way. So are we. Of him chugging a 2-liter gallon or 2 liter of Coke. And he's got some Olivia Rodrigo on in the background. It's a nice little TikTok. The burp afterwards is something you've never seen before, and you will never soon forget, because he chugs it fairly quickly. So avoiding the carbonated items is a good idea. So what are you thinking there, Chris? What could it be for you?
I think mine would be lemonade.
It's a good choice.
Yeah.
Right? As long as it's not too sweet, could do lemonade.
Yeah.
For me, I'm actually going to take both of yours and combine them. Give me the Arnold Palmer. Give me some Arnie Palmies, baby. That way you balance the sweet and then you have the tea. I think I could take down some Arnold Palmers pretty quickly. That would be it for me.
Yeah, I could kill some sweet tea. I always feel like when I drink sweet tea, I drink it too fast. That's the reason why I think that one would work.
Next time we're at a Popeyes, they sell gallons of sweet tea and lemonade. Brunch Breakdown live on. We're gonna do it live, and then we're having it up on TikTok. Chugging contest. Let's go. Get ready, boys. My bachelor party. Let's go. Get the sweet tea. Get the lemonade.
Oh, that's right.
Dan can be
Coach Angles.
Dan can be the PA guy who just puts the hat on and narrates.
I would love to be that guy. Yes.
But real quick, before we transition though, I don't want us to get too far away from what I really think should be the action item coming out of this conversation. A groundswell of enthusiasm needs to happen from somewhere to get Kobayashi back in this competition. And I think we should start it.
All right. Hashtag
free Kobayashi.
Free Kobayashi.
Yes, that was the thing going around. If you've seen the 30 for 30. Yeah. And it all started back on a very similar name, image, and like this type of thing where he wanted to get paid for individual sponsorships and Major League Eating wouldn't allow him to. And he was the guy and they said no. A lot of other drama from there, like Chris said, but come on back. Let's go. Let's go, Kobayashi. We need you.
Got to get him back. It's just not right. It's not right. How are we supposed to know if Joey's really the GOAT? You know?
Right. Next year. Come on.
All right. Well, boys, for the second week in a row, we have all these topics, but we are running out of time. So we're going to what we're listening to, but that's why we have the leftovers. We'll do these very soon. All right. What we're listening to, I'll get it started. Maisie Peters, Psycho. This song is a super catchy pop song talking about how, you know how like dudes will do like something psycho and then call the girl psycho instead? That's what the whole song is about. So it's pretty amazing. She's just saying, but I'm psycho. And it's a super catchy pop song. I think you're going to hear a lot of this song because it's just super catchy. And it just like, it's very funny because you're just like, yeah, like every guy calls the girl psycho, but really they're the one acting like an idiot. So it's pretty great. Check it out. Maisie Peters, Psycho.
Excellent. I'll hop in here next. First one for me is from Japanese Breakfast. The song is called Be Sweet. And I've been meaning to put this on the playlist the last couple of weeks, finally getting around to doing it. It's off of her latest album called Jubilee. And Be Sweet is just, it's one of those songs where you hear it once and you hear it again and you just want to keep listening to it over and over again. Kind of has this like 80s pop feel to it when it gets started. And then the chorus just kind of takes a little change of direction and turns into this kind of bright, super catchy, almost like summery jam type of song. So I'm still in the middle of checking out the rest of that album. Been really happy with it so far, but Be Sweet from Japanese Breakfast is really great. Put that on the playlist this week.
I mean, maybe I'm not familiar with this band or artist, but are we just going to pretend like you didn't just recommend Japanese Breakfast and we're just not going to say anything about that band name? Nobody?
You might like Japanese Breakfast, Chris.
Well, the other thing is I've noticed a trend from Dan this year. You've had quite a few of almost like 80s pop-esque songs on the
That's
playlist
fair.
from time to time. Yeah. And I enjoy them. I enjoy all of them.
Excellent. Yeah, you should like this one.
A band I mentioned a few weeks ago, Settle Your Scores. It's funny. I mentioned them in this segment of the podcast. And I said they haven't released anything for like 6 years. And then they just came out with 2 awesome songs. So we're going to put them on the playlist this week. One is called Meant for Misery. And the second song is called 1999. And they're both super, super catchy, fun pop punk songs. 1999 in particular is a lot of fun. Look up the music video for it. I mean, it's as nostalgic as it can get. And I think I want to also add this one to our cookout playlist because I feel like it's a perfect candidate for a pop punk song at a cookout. So Meant for Misery and 1999 from Settle Your Scores.
Beautiful.
Yeah, like that.
All right. I got one that I'm shaky about. It's called Working by Tate McRae and Khalid. Here's the reason why I'm shaky about it. Tate McRae is this young pop singer. She's got the song called You Broke Me First that you probably heard. But anyways, Working is her new single. It's got Khalid in it, and Khalid sucks on this song. Doesn't sound good on it. I understand why he's there, but like he kind of ruins the song in a way just because like he just doesn't sound good on it. So like check out Working, the first verse, skip Khalid's verse, and then listen to the rest of the song. I just need a version without him on it, and this song's really good. So Working, Tate McRae, unfortunately with Khalid.
Dude, I'm glad you said that. I remember seeing both of their names on that track, and I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be great. And I just, after listening to it, was like, what happened?
Yeah, he just doesn't sound good on it. And then I was going through this thing, I was like, oh, maybe he lost it. And then like I heard a Khalid song, and I'm like, oh yeah, he just doesn't sound good on that song. I don't know.
Just a bad day. Just a bad day at the office with Khalid. Next up for me is, speaking of collaborations, Illenium, EDM artist, teamed up with Matt Mason, kind of an alternative singer-songwriter, for a song called Heavenly Side. I'm not the biggest fan of Matt Mason. My fiance is a huge fan. We disagree over him all the time. But this collaboration is really good. It's great. It's not one that I envisioned happening. Matt Mason, in his other work, he's a lot of acoustic guitar. He almost has like a hint of a country vibe to it. It's not country music, but there's just that hint by the tone and the timbre of his voice that kind of makes it feel that way, just a teeny bit. But this song really showcases his vocal ability in kind of a different style or setting, and is one that I could really get behind. So it's off Illenium's album, which is going to be released next week, later in July. But Heavenly Side, Illenium, and Matt Mason.
Right. My second song is from a band called With Confidence. Song's Big Cat Judgment Day. It just fits in with what I'm recommending from Settle Your Scores to put on the playlist. It's just super catchy, super fun pop punk. And it's brand new. And as you guys know, the bands that I listen to don't always put out a lot of brand new music. So we're going to take advantage of it while we can. Let's go With Confidence.
Yeah, Chris Gates' hot new track.
Oh, all right. I gave you guys some homework. Did you guys listen to it?
Yes.
Throw it back. Breland and Keith Urban. And I'm not sure if I love or hate this song. All I know is that I find myself singing it from time to time. So while I was walking through Vegas the other day, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to send this to the boys, see what they think about it. But yeah, for some reason, it's on my like playlist I have with like new songs on it. And every time I feel like, one time I'm like, all right, I got to skip this. The next time I'm like, this is my jam. I don't know what to do with it.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't hate it. In that genre, that style. I mean, Keith Urban's part is whatever. Breland I can get behind. You've mentioned him many, many times before, so I'll try listening to it again to see if I have a similar vibe to you, where if it's a love-hate thing. But I'm at least lukewarm to it.
I forgot to listen to it. Sorry.
God damn it, Chris.
Give him homework.
Damn you, Chris.
I was never good in school. I didn't do my homework. I'm sorry.
Listen to it.
Yeah, now it's on the playlist. No excuse.
Yeah, no excuse.
Last one up for me is Jaden, who spells his name JXDN. Because of course he does. And my name is Steel City Dan, and I love artists who don't spell their name correctly. So Jaden, JXDN, and Machine Gun Kelly teaming up. A lot of collaboration and team-ups going on this week, but teamed up for a song called Wannabe. This is off Jaden's newest album that just came out called Tell Me About Tomorrow. It's more of that kind of newer, I don't want to call it new age pop punk, but it certainly has a little bit different style to it and sound to it. A lot of it coming vocally more than anything. You still have the bass building blocks of what pop punk is, but the vocal styles are a little bit different. And this is what people keep wanting. This is what Travis Barker is giving us. And this is what Machine Gun Kelly is giving us. And he's a feature on this song, but him and Jaden team up to give us a great one here. Other songs on this album kind of had that similar hip hop and pop punk kind of mashup vibe. In fact, there's another song on the album with Ian Dior, who we've mentioned on this playlist a number of times for. That song is called Tonight. Check that one out as well. But Wannabe with Jaden, Machine Gun Kelly.
Nice. Well, I'm going to wrap it up with more pop punk here, boys. Real Friends released 2 new songs recently. The first time they've released anything since 2018. And if you follow the band at all, you know that they had a change in their frontman. Dan Lambton is no longer a part of the band. So these 2 songs, Nervous Wreck and Storyteller, are with their new lead singer. And it's always interesting when bands, have a vocalist change, because man, that can change things quite a bit. Like, as much as I love Blink, and I still love Blink, Matt Skiba and Tom DeLonge are 2 very different vocal styles. And like, I do and always will forever miss what Tom brought to the vocals of their songs. But this, I feel like, was a good transition. I like these 2 songs. I like the direction of the band and somehow how their sound is evolving. So we'll put both of those on the playlist this week as well. One of my favorite pop punk bands of kind of the new age genre, or the new wave of pop punk. That second wave that cropped up a few years ago. So toss that on.
Yeah. Nice. Best wishes to Mark Hoppus. Speaking of Blink-182, wishing him all the best. Hope we can get back out there soon. But Sounds of Brunch, boys. Yeah. Every Friday, new Sounds of Brunch. Follow it on Spotify. We'll tweet that out every well. And the cookout playlist is going to be around for you guys all summer. Right now, it's pinned to the top of our Twitter profile. Like Chris mentioned, we're going to be adding to it as the summer goes along and have more cookouts, more parties, all the good stuff. So you can continue to check that out all summer as well.
Nice. Well, boys, any final thoughts as we close out another beautiful brunch here?
Free Kobe.
Free Kobe.
Free Kobe. How long would it take the 2 of you to eat 76 hot dogs, do you think?
I had 2 hot dogs on July 3rd and woke up the next day feeling a little weird. So, months, 76 hot dogs,
76 hot dogs,
months, set like 3 months.
Wow.
So let's see what, I don't know.
So if it took you, obviously in 10 hours, it would be roughly 7.6 hot dogs per hour. In 12 hours, it's about 6 1/3 hot dogs per hour.
No, I'll do 2 a day and then give me 2 days in between to get back to baseline.
I could do like 4 a week. So what's that get me to, like 4 months?
I did the hour breakdown. I thought somebody would be able to do it a little bit quicker. I think I could do it in 12 hours. 6 1/3 hot dog per hour. No. Like, if I'm getting paid for it, I wouldn't do it for fun. Weird thing. Speaking of brunch court, I know we're trying to wrap this up and go. I saw salmon and cheese hot dogs at the grocery store today. Almost picked them up. It's so wrong. It's so wrong, but right enough for me to want to try. On a future episode of the Brunch Breakdown.
I think that's it.
That's it.
We're out of here. Yeah. Don't eat salmon and cheese hot dogs. We're out.